everyone, my name is Emma. Today I'll be discussing the topic of euthanasia, which basically means helping somebody who is usually terminally ill end their life to relieve pain or suffering. It's a really deep topic and we wanted to hear what people in our community think about whether it's right or wrong. So today I have here with me B, who is an EMT student, so she's in that medical field currently. So I just have a couple of questions for you today. So what does the term euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide mean to you personally when you hear those terms?
I think of when you're putting down a dog when they're really sick. You just don't want them to be like that anymore.
So you don't want them to suffer anymore. And so suppose a person is in severe pain with no hope of recovery. Would it be moral for a doctor to help them end their life?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. And do you believe a physician should be allowed to help terminally ill patients end their lives?
I do. It's the same thing as a animal who's really sick. You don't want them to keep living in pain. You'd rather put them down so that they can go to sleep painlessly.
Yeah, that's good.
Same thing for an old person with a DNR.
Okay.
You don't want that.
Do you mind explaining what a DNR is to people who may not understand?
It is a do not resuscitate order. It's a little yellow paper. If this person's heart stops beating, we wouldn't do compressions to bring them back. It essentially just lets them die without having to be in pain anymore.
I'm Jeffnika, and that look at community opinion confirms the depth of this debate and highlights the human desire for control. Now, let's look at a second article that adds another layer to this conversation, moving from patient interviews to real-world data. Our second peer-reviewed article is titled "The Last Phase of Life: Who Requests and Who Receives Euthanasia or Physician-Assisted Suicide" by Onwuteaka, Philipson, and colleagues. This study's method involved analyzing clinical cases in the Netherlands and Belgium, countries where euthanasia is legal. The results of this study found, consistent with the previous Carlson study, that most requests for euthanasia came from cancer patients. However, the authors found a critical demographic contrast. Those who actually received the procedure were more likely to be younger, better educated, and from a higher social class compared to those who only request it or die naturally. This is highly significant. The discussion suggests that access to euthanasia isn't solely about medical need or the severity of suffering. Instead, the authors theorize that it's heavily influenced by socio-economic factors, meaning a patient's ability to navigate complex legal and medical systems may determine whether their autonomous request is fulfilled. To wrap it up, both studies, Carlson and colleagues, focusing on the emotional challenge of autonomy and trust, and Onwuteaka, Philipson, and colleagues, highlighting the issue of equal access, show that euthanasia is far more complex than a simple yes or no question. The central focus must remain on meeting the patient's desire for dignity and comprehensive emotional care, ensuring that a request for assisted death is always a true expression of autonomy, not a consequence of poor care or systemic inequality.
So tonight, here I have with me Amy, who works as a registered nurse. So my first question for you tonight is, in your opinion, do you believe euthanasia or assisted suicide can ever be morally justified? Why or why not?
Yes, I feel that it should be justified for patients that have no more recourse for their health, and if there's nothing more that the healthcare companies can do for them.
Okay, so my next question is, if a patient were to request assisted suicide and their family disagrees with them, whose wishes should be respected?
It should be the patient's wishes.
Okay. And my last question for you tonight is, Is it more compassionate to prolong life at all costs for the terminally ill or allow death when suffering becomes unbearable?
I think that they should have their wishes. If there's nothing else that can be done for them, they should definitely have that wish granted.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming with me tonight.
You're welcome.
So here today I have with me Allie. My first question for you is, do you think individuals, specifically the terminally ill, should have the right to decide when and how they die?
Yeah, I think so. Like, if they're suffering, you know, and they're gonna probably be dying anyways, it might as well be how they would like.
To respect their wish?
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, do you think that there should be laws restricting euthanasia, or do you think it should be a private discussion between doctor and patient?
I guess maybe depending on like the method, but I think still it should be between them. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So my last question for you is going to be, how do you think euthanasia affects the role as doctors, as healers and caregivers?
I mean, I really think that it's still them doing what they can do to care for people, honestly. Maybe it could be, it sounds like it could put them in a bad light.
You think it would make them upset or?
Yeah. It's probably hard to have to do that.
Yeah.
But it's giving people what they need to, I guess, not suffer.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming with me today.